Does Cricut Infusible Ink expire? Can you use Cricut Infusible Ink after a year? How long does Cricut Infusible Ink last? Those are the questions that we're going to be answering today. So we haven't used Cricut Infusible Ink here on the channel in a while, and it is starting to really trend again. If you're not familiar with the Infusible Ink, it is technically sublimation. And what this allows you to do is get into that sublimation world without actually having to purchase a very expensive printer. You could purchase one of these, whether you're purchasing the big ones for your bigger Cricut, like your Explorers and Makers, or even the smaller ones for your Cricut Joy. So you can make t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of fun things. Cricut has lots of links, like they have tote bags, they have coasters, but you can use anything that you can actually sublimate. So anything that we normally sublimate on, you can use Cricut Infusible Ink. But like I said, it is starting to trend again. A lot of people are starting to use this. So we're gonna walk all the way through the process. But the one thing I wanted to switch up and do different today was we are using old Cricut Infusible Ink. So I purchased these when Cricut Infusible Ink launched, and I mean launch day. The day they were launched, I went into Michael's and got these. So you're talking 2.5 to 3 years old. So if you go back and actually look at the day that they launched the Cricut Infusible Ink, that's how old these are. So we're gonna find out today, do they still work? Are they going to be easy to cut and weed? And then are they going to be, whenever we press them, is the ink still going to be vibrant? We're going to answer all of those questions today. So along the way, this is also going to answer your questions like how to use Cricut Infusible Ink and all of those kind of things. So I'm super, super excited about it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so first things first, I wanted to go over our free resources because today's video is going to be free SVG files. So another thing that people ask all the time is where can you get free SVGs, free PNGs, and I'm going to show you guys today. So if you guys have not seen this or didn't know this, we actually offer free resources. So whenever you head on over to designbundles.net, on the very front page, you're going to notice where it says free design. So if you hover over that, you're going to see free SVGs, free sublimation, free laser, etc. Now this is where it could get confusing if you're just now getting into Cricut Infusible Ink, is that you would think that you want to go to the sublimation designs, but what you actually want to go to is the SVG files. So all you simply have to do is you can click free designs here, which will take you to this page I'm already on, or you can even just simply click free SVGs and it's going to take you just to the SVG versions of everything that's in the free resources. And as you guys can see here, this thing is loaded, and I mean page upon page. It has got so many free designs. You can use the fonts as well. So right here, if you hover over fonts, you're also going to see free fonts as well. So it's another free resource. We've got lots of free fonts for you. But just to show you guys a little bit more about the free designs, if you just click on the free designs, on the left-hand side over here, you can also filter out free SVGs, clip art, all of those things. So from here, I could click free SVGs and it's going to take me there as well. And what's amazing about these is they're a one-click download. So you don't have to add them to your cart to check out. You're just going to click download and add them, and then add them to Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to show you how easy that is. So I'm going to show you the two designs that we're actually using today. Is this one right here. This one would be so cute. We're going to do this on a baby onesie. And what's really cool about Cricut Infusible Ink, so I'm using this SVG, and you just see a solid color here, but we can use a pattern to make a pattern, all right? So we are going to do that ourselves, which technically would make it like a PNG. So that's what's really, really exciting. And so we're using this one, and then we're also going to be using this one as well as this one to put on a coffee mug. You guys know I'm a sucker for a cow. If you guys don't even know, I'm telling you. But if you've been following me for a while, you know. So we're going to put this on one side of the cup, and then we're going to put this one on the other, just to play around, because putting this through the test, I want to test it with a Cricut Easy Press on a baby onesie, so that's like a polyester fabric, and then I want to test it also on a hard substrate just to make sure does it work still the same as well on the coffee mug. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on our Cricut Easy Press, and what we're going to do is figure out, so I know that we need to come over here to our heat, and I believe we need to turn it to 400 degrees for 60 seconds, but I'm going to go ahead and go double check all of those settings in just a second. So I've got the 400 degrees. All right, so let's go ahead and figure out the temperature that we're going to need. And so right now I have pulled up the heat guide. All you simply have to do, I'm going to have this link down below for you guys, is type in Cricut heat guide on Google, and you guys should get this, the link for this. there is an app that you can download and choose what machine. This is actually the Cricut EasyPress 3, so you can actually even control everything from your phone, but I like the heat guide too. And from your phone too, you can even save this to your home screen of your phone to pull it up very easy. So the way that this works is we're gonna choose our EasyPress. Number one, it doesn't give us the number 3 because they have a whole thing on that. It's fine, same thing. Gonna choose the Cricut EasyPress 2. The transfer materials is going to be infusible transfer sheets. So we're going to choose that, and then our base material is going to be, the first one is the baby bodysuit. And so then you're going to choose that I'm using the Cricut pressing pad, and I'm going to hit apply, and that's going to actually give us 385 for 40 seconds. So we're going to back that up just a little bit. So we're going to do 385 for 40 seconds. Now I was going to hit that again. I need to hit the time. So I won't actually I actually won't need to do this for the mug press because the mug press obviously does everything for us. It's already set. So 385 for 40 seconds is what they're recommending. And they even show you here to give you some examples of how you should layer this, but Crystal Ann's going to show you what you need to do. All right, so here we go. So let's go ahead and start to download these. I'm just going to click download for free, and it's sending it straight to my computer. That's it. You've seen that jump. It's on my computer. I own it now. I could come back and download it again if I need to, but I don't have to take it to the cart and checkout or anything. Didn't have to give you my email address or none of those things, all right? So easy. So let's go ahead and download the others. Same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and hit download now, and then we're gonna grab our last one. Okay, this one actually I totally forgot. This one we actually threw in here. This one actually is from the marketplace, so I don't want to confuse that. I should have thought about that. So we actually threw this one in here because I don't think we could find a Highland cow that I wanted from the free section, but I definitely wanted to play around with it. So actually, I think let's just go ahead and cut this one out today, and let's just go ahead and stick. That way this video, the SVG, stay completely free. So we're going to do Not My Rodeo, and then we're going to go ahead and do this one right here. All right, so I've downloaded both of those, so let's go ahead and head on over to Cricut Design Space. All right, so now that I'm over here in Cricut Design Space, we're just simply going to go ahead and click on upload and then upload an image. You could definitely do a drag and drop. Today I'm going to show you the browse. We're going to hit that browse. I just simply go to my downloads. We're going to double click. Here's that rodeo. The one that you're looking for, there's a PNG version and SVG, etc. The DX. It's always DXF. I can never say these ones. Those are for the silhouette. So DXF files are for the silhouette if you have the free version, and then SVG is for Cricut. So we're going to go ahead and click on open, and then it's going to look just like this. We're going to upload it, and then now let me go ahead and grab the next one. So same thing. We're going to go ahead and hit browse, double click that folder there, and then we're going to choose that SVG version and click open. Same thing, so easy. Click on the upload. And then now we're ready to work on both of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring both of these inside of Cricut Design Space, and then we're gonna get ready to cut them out. All right, so now that I've already brought these in here, I went ahead and welded this one right away. It was in a few different pieces, but what that allows is for you to go in and change all of those pieces. So I'm gonna show you that same thing. So you see over here, we've got a couple. I'm not gonna be doing that. We're actually using infusible ink. You could definitely do multiple colors if you wanted to, but I'm gonna do one. So what we're gonna do is come down to where it says combine, weld. It's going to make it one solid piece. So now you see there's only 2 files here. All right, so now that we have this is the one that's going to go on the cup, and then this is the one that's going to go on the shirt. So, all right, so the blanks that we're using today is I'm going to be using this Cricut bodysuit because it is 100% polyester, which is going to allow you to sublimate on it. So I've already opened one right here. So we have this little baby bodysuit like this. What I love about the Cricut ones is that you can definitely grab them locally. But once again, if you go, say for example, you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to Old Navy, and you find one that has polyester or polyblend, it's going to work. So I've even done that with some embroidery blanks because they are polyester a lot of the time. Definitely check those out too, so feel free for that. But I do love, if you're looking for a blank of a baby onesie, it's one of the best ones that I have found, and I really do love it. It's nice and thick. It's going to keep the baby nice and warm and cozy. So here we go. So we've got that. Let's figure out, let me get my tape measure here and figure out about how big we want to cut it out. All right, taking that tape measure, let's go ahead and see here. I'm thinking 5 inches wide. If we did that, let's go ahead and come up here, put in 5 inches wide. That's going to give us 6'1" high. So let's just look at that. Hey, and that looks really good to me. So looking at my colors here, I've got a few different ones. I'm thinking we're gonna do this a dinosaur. So I was thinking green. Number one, I could do it a solid green here, but I'm thinking if this is in here, let me look at this one really quick. I wanna show you guys, it does have this really cool green here. These are like a watercolor one. So let's open it up really quick. So some of these I've opened before and used. So this one's never been opened. So we're gonna go ahead and slice into this guy and grab that green sheet there. Just gonna pull it out. Now the thing about Cricut Infusible Ink, it's the exact same thing if you were using sublimation. When you first look at these, they're gonna be dull, but once you press them, they're gonna be super bright and vibrant. So when you get them like this, they come in these packages, which is going to keep this obviously fresh. There's a little packet in there to keep the moisture out. So I'm hoping that we do have some that's open. So maybe when we get to the mug, we'll use an open one just to see. So when you purchase them, this should hopefully allow it to stay good. Like I said, these are probably close to 3 years old. And so we're gonna go ahead and cut into it. And then we're gonna go ahead and pop this guy out. So I do believe this first one, like I said, if you look here, it is super dual. These colors are dual. It's really hard to kind of tell. That's a blue. So this one should be the green. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this. Really, really pretty. All right, so it's gonna give us that really cool effect, but it's gonna be much bolder once we press it. All right, now the thing that comes with these is you will get your parchment paper. I do love that too. They do include a few pieces of parchment paper already in here, so we're gonna use that as well. All right, and then we're just gonna go ahead and set those out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure we've got that guy ready. For my mug here, I know that I'm gonna wanna do this somewhere around probably, let's just say I did it 3 inches wide is what I'm gonna do on this one. So I'll actually come up here to my width. We're gonna do 3 inches, and that's what we're gonna do with that one. So for the Not My Rodeo, which is gonna be for my cut, because we're cutting these out at the same time, I think I'm going to do, let's see if this one has not been opened either. This one definitely has, let's see. Like I said, I'm trying to find one, maybe even this one. Or this one. All right, so I do have this one here. This one's already been opened too, so let's go ahead and open this one. And that way we're using one that's been open for a while. All right, so for this one here, and I always try to put them back inside of these whenever I put them in the box. Sometimes I'm lazy and I would just put it back in the box. But for this one here, I'm gonna try to use the that top one, I think, is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that guy out as well, because I'm gonna try to cut both of these at the exact same time. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get these out of the way. Like I said, it's really cool because when we use these SVGs, you see that they're just a solid color, but we're gonna put our own patterns into this. And so you guys could pause this, let me know, do you guys think that this stuff is still gonna work? It's gonna cut good? We're about to find out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and change this one to, well, I'm gonna keep them the same color because obviously I know what I want them both on the same mat. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hit make it. All right, I've already got my Cricut on here. We're gonna say on the mat, continue. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just move this to one side and the other. So for the onesie, I need it 7 by 8, and then I'm going to need this one about 3 by 4 is what we're gonna do. All right, so we are going to do, like I said, we're doing 7 by 8. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this on here. And I always like to cut the shortest part first. So we're gonna go ahead and go here. We're gonna do 7. Now this stuff is the same as like how vinyl has like these little crosses here. So 2 of those, 4 in total equals an inch. So you could count that as well and use your pair of scissors if you would like. All right, so now we need to cut it to the 8 inches. It looks good. We're gonna set that out of the way, and then we're gonna go ahead and do this one here. So depending on the pattern, see how this has different, like the way the pattern is, you could pick and choose where you want to cut this, where it's gonna be. So for this one, we were doing 3 by 4. So let's go ahead and get it in here. And then we're gonna cut it to the 4. Perfect, so we've got our pieces. Now let's get ready to load it on the mat. All right, so the one thing with Cricut Infusible Ink, you wanna make sure that you do have your mirror turned on. So now you see, I didn't wanna load these first because guess what happened once I mirrored it? You see they went to the opposite sides, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and get this one on this side, all right? And then for this one, we're gonna get it on this side. All right, so now that I have both of these on here, we are ready to cut it out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hit continue. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's go to browse all materials. And I'm gonna start to type in INF for infusible. You're gonna see infusible ink transfer sheets, and then we're gonna hit done. So here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure all of this is out of our way. We're going to load it. And then as soon as that loads through, we're gonna go ahead and hit that go button. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hit go. Now in the meantime, while this is cutting out, I'm gonna go ahead and start to pick things back up a little bit so it's not such a mess when we go to work here, and we'll be right back. All right, so this is gonna continue to cut. I've got it picked back up just a little bit. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is start prepping up our onesie. So one of the things that we wanna do is get it open, get it kind of laid out here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take my heat press here, and I'm gonna go ahead and press it for just a few seconds to remove any sort of moisture and just kind of smooth everything out. Now when it comes to Cricut Infusible ink, there is the risk of the ink coming through because there is a lot of ink on that paper compared to where sublimation ink is controlled with the printer. So with this, you definitely want to put a piece of copy paper in between or take a piece of this parchment, and that's what I'm gonna do. So actually I'm just gonna go ahead and cut down a piece to size to fit in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get one of these and kind of trim it down, and then we're just gonna get it right inside of there. So let me see if I can get a little bit off of here. I don't know why I just completely flipped that around to cut it. All right, so here we go. Cut, cut, cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and put it inside. Now when it comes to a baby onesie, you do have these seams to think about. So Cricut does make a smaller heat pad like this that you can definitely put underneath. So I'm gonna keep my big one down here and put this, but you can also use something like a pressing pillow. But if you are going to, obviously when you have your, like I said, this ink, once again, you may wanna take another parchment paper to protect your pad and then your baby onesie. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one of these, which actually have just a piece here of our regular one that we always use. Once again, copy paper. You can even use copy paper. All right, so before we actually go into weeding all of those pieces, we're gonna go ahead and take that lint roller, and we're just gonna go ahead and lint roll to remove any sort of debris, because if you don't, you can get those little blue dots just as you would if you were sublimating. All right, so we've got these cut. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is flip over like I showed you just a second ago, and that way it kind of helps to get this off. All right, just like so. And then we are going to peel this one as well. Perfect. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and kind of pop these. So if you kind of fold them, it's gonna kind of help release it in a sense. So kind of just getting those areas where it's kind of cut and just folding and bending and all of that good stuff. And that way it'll just kind of weed a little bit faster and easier. All right, so I've tried to do what I could. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start to weed. So when you do this, you don't even need weeding tools. You could definitely use some tweezers if you would like. And so you're just gonna go ahead and start to peel it away like this. Now, when it comes to a Cricut Infusible ink, one of the things that you're gonna realize is like this paper. See how that paper sticks? You can go back, peel that off. As long as it doesn't have any ink on it, you're good to go. But that is one of the things you kind of have to deal with the Infusible ink. And I like to point that out because I don't want you to think that it's you and the way that you cut it. But Infusible ink is a little bit, you know, tedious to kind of go around. So we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna speed this up and weed it out. Now I wanna bring it up to you and show y'all, hopefully y'all can pick that up. These are teensy, teensy, tiny pieces. So I'm trying to be super careful to hopefully save those. Okay, first of all too, I also wanna say that this is the same old Cricut Infusible ink, like I said, probably close to 3 years old. And before, you would really struggle and have a lot of those little pieces of paper stay behind. So I really do believe that Cricut has improved their cut settings for the Cricut Infusible ink, because I've had a lot easier time weeding this, and even honestly down to those teensy tiny pieces, I couldn't even believe it wasn't that hard to get those to stay. So I'm kind of shocked right now. All right, now whenever it comes to these teensy tiny, there's two little pieces here. I would suggest taking your reading tool, a little tiny like pen tool, and then go ahead and pop those out just to kind of help you. I'm gonna try to see if I can accomplish that. It took the top off and not the paper, but I may go back and try to pull that in just a second. Let's see if I can pull, because it's the same letter. If I hold the outside and bend, oop, nope, I was able, I think I'm gonna be able to get it. That was a lot easier than trying to use the pen. So I'm gonna go back, see if I hold the outside, if I could accomplish getting that paper. I'm just gonna leave it because I'm afraid I'm gonna mess it up. All right, so we got one more tiny piece on that 8. I'm gonna get rid of that and we're gonna be ready. All right, and there you have it. So like I said, we used an SVG, but now we have our very own pattern. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to go ahead and line this up, and this is a little bit sticky, the carrier sheet here. So it's gonna help you hold it down. I'm gonna get it as high up as I can because it's a baby onesie, and just try to center that up. So somewhere about there looks good to me. So the next thing that we need to do is cover it with another parchment paper. So I'm gonna use one of those Cricut ones. So we're going to cover, and then now we're gonna go right on top. Go ahead and get this thing going here, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit that go. 385 for 40 seconds. Now, whenever you do this, you just definitely want to make sure you're giving nice, even pressure. So I'm hoping the way that I'm holding this, it's going to get everything, because you could end up with, it's not called ghosting. Ghosting's whenever it shifts. So if this goes to shift while it's still hot and in sublimation temperature, you could get a double image in a sense. But it could be, it's not frayed edges, but where they're kind of lighter than others. So definitely make sure it's nice, even pressure. All right, so we're getting down to 3 seconds. Here we go, moment of truth. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do this, and then we're gonna go ahead and quickly peel. Are you guys ready? Here's the reveal. Boom. How cute is this? Adorable. So now it's like a PNG, like a sublimation file, but we actually made it with Cricut Infusible Ink. And to answer the question, yes, this does not go old. Now, I don't even know if it's 10 years from now, but what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna hold on to this, and we're gonna try it again in a couple more years. So I'm gonna keep on holding on to this, and we'll be back. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, as long as obviously Cricut continues to sell the infusible ink or it's on the market available. So I'm gonna hold on to these, and that way we can come back and test them again, because this is good. This is so, so good. So I'm actually gonna bring it up here so you guys can see. Just like that. So, so cute. I'm trying to be careful because honestly, while it's hot, so I'll kind of start to bring this down. I'll actually swing it a little bit. I would wait to pull your paper out just until this has completely cooled, because once again, if you are at the sublimation temperatures, it could still sublimate the back of that shirt. Now I'm gonna go ahead and inside it out. This one actually did not have a bunch come through there, so hopefully you can see that. I don't see anything, looks good, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it definitely can, so be safe. So yes, so far so good. Now we're gonna go ahead and test it on the Cricut mug just to see, but this is adorable. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up here so you guys can see a little bit better, but I love the way that that pattern came out, and this is a free SVG, guys. So ROAR means love you in dinosaur. It is adorable, and it is a completely free SVG. So make sure you guys go snag this one and pull back out that Cricut Infusible Ink if you've had it and it's old. Don't toss it out. It is still good. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the coffee mug. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready for our mug. So for this one, remember, this is the one that was open. So I've actually opened this. I've actually used pieces out of this one. So this will be interesting. This one's gotten some air to it and all of that. So let's see, what if they are open? Do they still work the same? Okay, so I'm gonna be using the Cricut mugs, which once again, if they're sublimation, it doesn't matter, you can use it. For the Cricut mug press, you can fit, I believe 11 to 15 ounces in here. And the ones we're using today are the 15-ounce mugs. So I've got this on, I've got it heated up and ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and open this guy, and we're gonna go ahead and start to prep it up. So with the Cricut mug blanks, they come like this, and so you can actually get the really big box, but I wanted to show you this one today because usually you can grab them locally like this, but you can also order online and get big boxes of them. All right, so what's really cool too is it comes with a box. So if you're gonna ship these and sell them, they come with their own little boxes. So we're gonna get this guy out of our way and let's get ready to go. So I also like too, because if you're gonna sell them, it does come with a bubble wrap. So obviously we're gonna peel this off, work on it, but you have the bubble wrap to put back in and everything. So they kind of have thought of everything there. I do like that. All right, so step one, we're gonna go ahead and take a clean cloth. We're gonna go ahead and remove any sort of lint or debris. That is step one. You don't wanna skip it. You could definitely do a full wrap. So the really cool thing about this is you could take a square inside of Cricut Design Space, unlock it, stretch it, so you can measure this and figure out how big you want to do that. And you could actually do a full wrap just like we normally do with any of these. You could have done a knockout, like slice this out of that, and then full wrap that. If you guys want to see something like that, make sure you guys let me know. I'll come back If you guys want more videos with the Cricut Infusible Ink, let me know in the comments below because we listen to you. If you want those, I'll bring them back. So let me know if you guys are interested in any more Cricut Infusible Ink videos. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and rub this. So figure out, do you hold it in your right hand? You want it on this side. You hold it in your left, you're gonna want it on this side. So for me, it's this one. So that's what we're gonna do. It's already clean, it's ready to go. I've got my Cricut heat tape here. So we're gonna go ahead and take 2 pieces of this. If I could get it to cut. I've noticed that my little cutter has not been working as good recently. So I'm gonna go ahead and come in here and I'll actually cut that one away. And then we'll actually take us 2 more little pieces here just to kind of get us started. So this does have sticky to it. So I'm gonna kind of hold it like this, figure out where my center is. All right. And then do that. So it does have stick to it to where it'll actually stick, but I like to be a little bit safer and actually get a little bit of this on here. All right, so something about like that. And then the same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure everything's nice and smooth, maybe add 1 more piece on this side. Now, when I used to do Cricut Infusible Ink, what I would do is I would actually take another piece of parchment and I would actually tape it on top just to make sure nothing's gonna come through, which honestly, this is a piece of plastic, so nothing can come through there. So I'm not gonna do that today, but I did extra secure this down because once we heat it too, this could come off and shift or working. So I've got the heat tape ready to go. So we're just gonna wait on this to finish heating up and then we're gonna make our mug and we're gonna test it out to see if the opened Cricut Infusible Ink will actually work. All right, so we are ready. So we're gonna go ahead and take that mug. We're gonna go ahead and pop that thing down in here. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and close it and it's gonna go. So the way that the Cricut mug press works, if you guys are new with it, especially even with the Infusible Ink or sublimation, it has its own. So you don't have to set a time, you don't have to set a temp. You're just gonna turn it on. Once you get that green light, you're gonna close it and you have 5 minutes here. So each little flash is a minute. So once you move on to the next, obviously a minute has passed. So once those 5 minutes are done, it'll beep and we'll be ready to go. Now you can definitely use Cricut Infusible Ink with other things. So you can use a bigger heat press, you can use a tumbler press, a more industrial style coffee mug press, any of those. So just vice versa. So I want you guys to think of this as sublimation. So except for this is your pattern. So you're gonna take those SVGs, you could take fonts, whatever you'd like. So if I wanted to write a name out, I could do that and I would have that pattern. It would be so pretty. And like I said, so many different things. I could take the tumblers that I normally do with sublimation, the tall ones, and I could do a full wrap on there with a knockout with the name, all of those things without having to go buy a $500, $600 to $1,000 printer. I could definitely use these sheets. And then once again, they have all of, I think the same designs that they have in the mini ones. They have them in the mini for the Cricut Joy. So the Cricut Joy, what could you do with that? I could have definitely still used the Cricut Joy and accomplished the baby onesie as well as the coffee mug, the coasters, all of those things. So lots of stuff, personalizing the side of a tumbler you could do. So many different things. But just to go over some blanks for Cricut too, they have like the little zipper pouches, like I said, those tote bags, all of the t-shirts. They have adult t-shirts. They even have gray ones. Now it's been a while since I've actually purchased their blanks, so I'm not too sure what they still have left. I know they had like wine totes, but once again, go check out Amazon, check out your local dealers, whether it is like Condi or JP Plus or any of those type of places, and just any of the blanks that are made for sublimation is going to be made for this. Christmas ornaments, the keychains that you've seen us make here on the channel with the sublimation, you can once again do with these. Have you guys seen where we take the acrylic keychains that we normally do with acrylic, with adhesive vinyl? You can sublimate those too. So you can go back and look at how to sublimate acrylic keychain here on our channel, and you can do that same thing with this. So really, really cool stuff. All right, so I think we've probably got around 30 seconds or so left. So we are getting ready for this. So moment of truth, whether this one's gonna work as well. I'm very curious about it, if it's gonna look light or if it's gonna be just as vibrant. So open versus closed. The closed one obviously came out phenomenal. And like I said, this stuff is almost 3 years old, or it is 3 years old. Here we go, I can't even speak. Here we go, I'm so excited. I'm gonna go ahead and get on my heat gloves here. Now this does stay cold to the touch, the handle does, but just to be safe, because I'm gonna be peeling off those pieces, we're gonna get that on. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, we're gonna drop it down here just to be safe so we can see everything. We're gonna go ahead and get our tape started here and start to peel. I already seen some, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. It looks good to me, honestly. I need to look at my box. Let's look at the box really quick. Which one did that one come out of? This one? Yes, this one. So it's actually supposed to be like this. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys up here a little bit so you guys can see that version there. It almost seems like the reds may be a little bit of a different color, but honestly, it could be where it had landed on the page. But it honestly did the thing, so I'm kind of curious about it. But to me, the color does seem off just a little bit. So you guys be the judge. Let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys in up here. Sometimes that color looks a little bit better. I almost say that is correct. I think it's because you know how there's different colors. There's lighter, darker, all those different areas. But to me, honestly, I think it's good enough. I think it looks good to me. But you guys let me know. Be the judge. So look at this. Actually, let's just pull the whole thing back out. I guess the color's not going to be dark enough, so I can't actually do that. Because what is on the box? So when y'all guys go to purchase these, what is on the outside of the box is the true color. So whenever you look on the inside, it's going to be dull and light. But this is what it should look like. So that's why kind of looking at it, to me, I feel like it is off a little bit. I almost feel like it's lost a little bit of that color. All right, so there we go. We have fully tested out the Cricut Infusible Ink. We've walked through the steps of how to use the Cricut Infusible Ink. And we've also answered the question of, does Cricut Infusible Ink go old? Does it still work after 3 years? Yes. Yes, it is. It stays good to go, so you guys can use your old Cricut Infusible Ink. Don't toss it out and go buy brand new ones. You're definitely still good to go on that. Like I said, you guys be the judge on this one. I feel like it is correct, but I think it's just because it was in a lighter area. That's my opinion. I think it was definitely in just a lighter area. So me, final answer, I think this is correct. And it's in a different area. But if you guys definitely want to see a full wrap or anything like that, you guys want to see the coasters, you want to see a tote bag, you just want to see more projects in general with the Cricut Infusible Ink, let me know in the comments below. And also let me know, what do you think? Are you guys excited? Are you guys going to go out and test it out? Have you played with it in the past? If you have and you've struggled with those cuts, try it again, because I definitely think Cricut has improved their cut settings for it. So I'm really, really excited about that. Do we want to test out the Cricut Infusible Ink pens next to figure out, do those go old? I've had them for the same amount of time. And so the other thing is the Cricut Joy. Do we want to test those and see if there's a difference and all of that kind of stuff? Let me know in the comments below. I'm super duper excited about it. It definitely worked out. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one.